Ravens wide receiver and Hall of Famer Randy Moss has said that he is sick. Concerned fans told the 47-year-old NFL star, who now works as an analyst on ESPN's NFL pregame show, that his eyes looked yellow during broadcasts, which could be a sign of liver problems. He said something about it. Moss said on the show, "I have something to tell you. Last week you talked about my eyes. I want everyone to know that my wife and I are fighting. There are great doctors close to me and my family." Moss told people that if they see him on radio wearing sunglasses, it's because of his condition and not because he doesn't care. "I'm going through something, and I need everyone to pray for me," he said. Have a great day. Many people think Randy Moss was one of the best wide receivers in NFL history. He had a great 14-year run and played for teams like these teams, the Minnesota Vikings and the New England Patriots. Moss caught 156 touchdowns and ran for 15,292 yards. He made the All-Pro team 4 times and scored the most touchdowns in NFL history 5 times. Let's think of Randy Moss and wish him well. Let's also do what he told us and put our health first. Please pray for Randy and his family. One of the most famous wide receivers in NFL history was Randy Moss. He was very fast, ran routes very correctly, and could change games when he was on the field. 14 years in the NFL, there have been many athletes who have had health problems during their careers and personal lives. Moss is no different. When he was playing, he was known for how great he was on the field. Since leaving the NFL, his personal life has brought to light some of the physical and mental health problems he has had. This look at Randy Moss's health issues will include a lot of the damage that playing football in the NFL did to his body, the difficulties of life after football, and the fact that he has mental health issues are just a few of the things that can be talked about. By doing so, we can learn more about Moss's personal life as well as the bigger issue of health and wellness for professional football players. Randy Moss played in the NFL for 14 years, from 1998 to 2012. He played for many teams, including the Minnesota Vikings and the Oakland Raiders. New England Patriots for 49 years, San Francisco 49ers, and Tennessee Titans before he died. He was known for being very tall and fast, and for being able to catch balls thrown far away. During his career, he caught 982 passes, got 15,292 yards, and scored 156 touchdowns. When the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2018 named him one of the best players of all time, he became a hero. Moss's health did get worse over the years, though. It does for a lot of successful athletes. Moss was known for his daring catches and way of playing football, but he got hurt a lot during his career. Football players get hit hard every week, so injuries like the ones he had to his knees, legs, and back are common. The sport is also very physical, with a lot of crashes, hard hits, and running all the time, which can have long-lasting effects on the body. Moss was no different. He played while hurt. Most players would have been unable to play other sports for a long time after those injuries. Moss would have to deal with the long-term effects of these accidents later in life. A lot of football players hurt their knees, and Randy Moss had his fair share of knee problems throughout his career. A lot of knee injuries happen in football because it's so hard, especially when players cut tackles or drop suddenly. Patella tendonitis and other knee problems were caused by playing football. Moss' knees were always hurting because of the stress he was under while playing football, especially because of the way he plays, which depends on speed and quick changes of direction. Veterans who used to play sports often have knee pain because years of high-impact exercise wear down the joints. For Moss, this pain has been a problem ever since he stopped playing professional football. Trouble on his trip. There are a lot of football players who have back problems, especially those whose jobs require them to jump and make a lot of touches. These problems can build up over time and cause long-term pain or even damage to the spine. During his career, Moss was said to have had back pain, and some say he felt bad during certain seasons. A bulging disc and other back issues were some of the injuries he had. It's also common for athletes who have played contact sports for a long time to get hip pain. When Moss was playing, he had to deal with these injuries by getting care, going to physical therapy, and sometimes playing through the pain. But when he retired, the damage to his back and hips would finally catch up with him, forcing him to get care and deal with constant pain. People often talk about players' physical health, but their mental health is just as important. This is especially true for famous people like Randy Moss, who has been very open about the mental health problems he had, like anxiety and depression, because he grew up in a hard place. Moss's mental health problems got worse because he played professional football. He had already been through poverty and family pain. Playing any sport at the highest level is very hard on the mind. Athletes can have mental health problems because they are being pushed to their limits. Coaches and fans had high expectations for him, and he was under a lot of pressure to do well every week. Moss has said that he sometimes felt lonely, stressed, and unsure of himself at work. He was also under a lot of pressure to fit a certain image, especially since he was a wide receiver known for his flashy style and angry outbursts. Being the center of attention and going through the ups and downs in his personal life had a big impact on Moss's mental health. Moss' mental health was in bad shape when he stopped playing football. It was hard for him to get used to the less stressful and more routine parts of retirement after the intense mental and physical demands of the NFL. After years of playing a sport, it can be hard for many athletes to feel like they have a purpose and identity again, which can make them depressed and anxious. He felt like he had lost something and didn't know what it was. Moss has talked about how hard it was to get used to life after football. What would come next? Moss has also said that it was hard for him to live up to the bad boy picture that the media gave him. People often saw Moss as a rebellious figure because of how he behaved and talked trash during games. This image may have helped him do well on the field, but it hurt his mental health because he had to keep up a public image while also dealing with his own issues. Randy Moss has talked about how he handles the stress of. He handled his job and personal life in different ways, just like a lot of other players. For Moss, drugs and alcohol helped him deal with stress and pain. A lot of retired athletes abuse drugs, especially those who are still dealing with the physical and mental effects of their career in a sport with a lot of effects. It's no secret that Moss has had problems with drugs. He has said that it was a way for him to deal with the tough feelings and physical pain as a competitive player. He has, however, talked about how he chose to get help and change his life with the help of his family and friends. Therapy and thinking about yourself. Moss has been brave enough to face his fears and work on improving his mental and emotional health. Since you quit football, Randy Moss has talked more about mental health issues and how important it is for players to take care of their mental health. Especially those who play contact sports, Moss knows that. People who play sports like football are often under a lot of stress. The stress that players are under while they are playing and after they stop is a reflection of the damage that sports do to the body. Moss has pushed for better mental health tools for athletes and told those who are having trouble to get help and put their emotional health first. As a way to break down the stigma surrounding mental health issues and bring more attention to them, Moss is ready to talk about his own experiences with them. It's more normal to talk about his problems, and it shows that players can have mental health issues that need care and treatment just like everyone else. Since he retired, Randy Moss has had a lot of good professional opportunities. He is now an analyst for NFL coverage and is still working on a lot of charitable projects. But since he stopped playing football, He has had to pay a lot of attention to his mental and physical health because of the constant physical stress he had to deal with at work. Means now that Moss is retired, he has to put in a lot of work to keep his body in good shape. To do this, he has to keep active to keep his mobility and go to physical therapy on a daily basis to deal with his pain. Moving forward, Moss has also used his fame to push for better mental health support in sports. He does this by bringing attention to the issues many of his fellow players are facing. His work demonstrates how former athletes can make a real difference in their communities. Even more so when it comes to health and happiness, Randy Moss is a star in the NFL. He did great things on the field because he was skilled, determined, and driven. But he had problems with his mental and physical health when he was playing football that have followed him around since he stopped. After sports, Moss has had some tough times. He has had problems with his mental health and drugs, and his knees and back hurt all the time. This story shows that business. In many ways, football is bad for your body, not just on the field. Athletes often have to pay a high price for their success, especially in high-impact sports like football. Moss was brave to talk about these issues and push for better mental health services is one way that famous people who used to play sports can use their fame to make the world a better place. Moss is facing his physical and mental health issues, which shows that it is possible to heal and grow as a person after football. Direct. Without a doubt, Randy Moss's journey has been hard, both physically and mentally. The damage he did to his body during his great NFL career shows the hidden costs of professional sports, as he had to deal with mental health issues. But what makes him stand out is how strong he is to face these problems head-on, talk about them, and use his fame to push for better support for other athletes who may be going through the same things. I hope Randy taught you something. You can follow and click the bell to make sure you don't miss any new parts of the story. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Do you think the NFL and other sports leagues do enough to help their players stay healthy after they retire? Thanks for watching, and remember that it's always important to take care of your mind and body.